In this section, we're going what up? In this section, we're going to go to the Ben and Barry on Football Facebook page. Had to take my time to say that there, get that out, and talk about current events. Let's get ready to rock this, Benny. Let's start out. I did not know this, and I posted this. NFL rookie, and I spelled rookie without an E, quarterbacks have never won in England. Jets quarterback Zach Wilson was struggling that day. He had a good game till he went to England, and all of a sudden he got to England and didn't have that great of a game. And apparently rookies don't fare well. That's a trend that seems to be holding up.
It's interesting.
I thought that, young guy, new generation, he might have been to England already. Who knows,
Maybe not.
That's
a long trip.
Maybe not. Okay.
It's a long trip.
A stop the hate message, England style. So this was an article that came up, and I'm not going to go all through it, but apparently, they're bringing it together over there in England. They said they've seen some really nasty comments online that only real NFL fans are at games this weekend and next weekend. A thoughtful reminder that demand far outweighs supply. Long story short, the need for people to be treated fairly has shown itself not just on a national level, but on an international level. And that's going to come up in one of the newer pieces that we're going to talk about. The internationalization of the American football game continues. London will have a minimum now of 3 NFL games per season. So we know that we're going to be back and forth to London, and more talk about actually getting a franchise overseas is happening. All right, let's just talk about this for a second. We don't have to put a whole bunch into it because it's been talked about.
How can you not put a whole bunch into this?
Well, okay.
I'm not saying we should. I'm just saying you make that statement like, okay.
I guess I just, I've watched so much coverage of it that I'm feeling like if we cover it and beat it up as much as I've watched, then it might be too much. But again, maybe our viewers haven't seen as much. That'd be hard to fathom. Let me say this much, and this is just something in the back of my head, right? This happened like 11 years ago.
This particular email, the one.
The emails that were sent out by John Gruden,
right,
were like 11 years ago.
Right.
As of right now, he's got, African Americans, gay people. He's got a pretty diverse organization actually right there as a Raider. And the Raiders have a history of Black coaches, for example. They have a certain diversity that they've, stuck with in terms of their background, their history. And I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity missed for John Gruden to come out and speak on those things that he did and the person that he was, as opposed to maybe the person that he is now, as opposed to just claiming like all the other supremacist racists claim, I'm not a racist. There's not a racist bone in my body, after we've seen emails that shown that, if you've done racist things in the past. A lot of people, we probably said things that were somewhat racist. I've heard Black people say racist stuff, but long story short, an opportunity to turn around and show the rest of the world that, yeah, I might've been that, but this is the right way. And I'm there now, and let me help all of you other people out there who maybe still are thinking the way I was thinking in 11 years. Let me help you and understand that was wrong and this is right. And I'm going to provide a level of leadership on the subject. And you're shaking your head, no. Okay.
It won't fly.
Go ahead.
It won't fly. Let's remember it, and correct me if I'm wrong. At the time these emails actually were typed and delivered was during the time when he was retired from the NFL and in broadcasting. He was on ESPN. So let's remember that before that, he was a coach in the NFL. He had a whole coaching career, assistant, OC, passing coach, quarterback coach, head coach, coached the Super Bowl team, all that. Coached the Raiders before. Okay. So he didn't go and had black players. As far as we could see, loved his black players. Never said anything that would lead you to believe that he didn't like a certain group of people or he had something against women. He never publicly stated or was said to have said or stated anything in reference to any of those things during a nice long coaching career, and seemed to have great rapport with most of his African-American players. Although a few did say some things about him, but it was kind of squashed, and now it's coming back up, namely Keyshawn Johnson. But so he didn't go from being a good guy to a bad guy back to a good guy. That's all I'm saying. So he can't say, yeah, I know I said those things back then, but now I got black assistant coaches. We got females in our front office, this, that. He didn't do that. The owner did that. Those are the owner's selections. Like you said, the Raiders have a long history of diversity. That's the Raider way. Just because he's the head coach, he can't stop it, nor would I think he would want to stop it, but he definitely had to continue it if he had any say in any of those matters anyway, which I don't think he had much. Maybe on his coaching staff he did. But as far as the front office is concerned and all that other stuff, no, he didn't. Look, he's got a gay player playing right now.
Yeah, I know. That to me, that actually. Well, let me ask you this.
What does that do? That doesn't do anything.
Do you think that he could maybe have submitted to what's the word when you go and get help, professional help relative to that?
To save his job?
No, not to save his job, but
it's a done deal.
To show that he's making,
because nobody would
grown
care
as a person.
He's not going to do that because nobody cares. He's done. He's cooked. He will never work an NFL job ever again. He couldn't get a job as an equipment manager. If he ever coaches again, it'll be overseas in Canada, in Mexico, or somewhere else. He will never, ever work in the NFL again. He called the commissioner the P word. You kidding me? He'll never. It's too late. Who's he going to? He can't prove nothing to nobody. They'll be like, so what?
All right.
They won't even believe it because he's such a fraud. He proved himself to be a fraud is what he did. He put himself out there as one thing, and then behind people's backs, he did something else. It'd be different if he came out and said, you know what, I'm not really cool on this. I don't have anything against gay people, but I don't think, if he did, then everybody would know.
The fraud aspect, the fraud aspect kills it, eh?
Yeah.
All right. Well, then he has to go to fraud
rehabilitation.
Fraud rehab. What do they say when you go to Alcoholics Anonymous? My name is John Gruden. I am a fraud.
I am a fraud. And they all go, hi, John.
Oh, my goodness.
I know you don't want to beat this up. This is the ironic thing to me.
Okay.
They weren't even after him.
Right.
This is part of the Washington football team investigation with abuse and stuff in their organization. But the bad thing is, not only did he get plucked out of there in an investigation on a team that he didn't even ever work for, but the investigation's been going on for a long time. And I think if it's not still going on, it stopped a little while ago. Yet nothing ever happened to anybody and no findings were ever released.
Well, I think the Redskins would find $10 million, which is not a lot. I'm not saying it's a lot for
Who's that
billionaires,
fall
but
on?
there was at
That
least
falls on
that
the
fine.
owner. That falls on the owner.
Right.
They didn't make him fire anybody.
Well, they had pretty much clean house there.
Who was Gruden talking to? I watched
That is a
Shannon
good
Sharp.
question. I'm wondering if he
Shannon
talked
Sharp
to his brother.
I hope not. Shannon Sharp said, when I'm talking to my brother or my homie or this guy over here, he said, we talk a certain way. We use curse words. We do this, we do that. He said, but when I'm talking to Prime or I'm talking to guy who played linebacker for the Tampa Bay when they won the Super Bowl,
Right.
He said, those guys don't curse. So I don't talk to them like that. So if Gruden was talking like that to somebody in that organization, they were somebody of like mind.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
So how come that hasn't come out? Why y'all burn him? So you announce that you're having an investigation, but you don't tell us any of the findings, other than you're going to find the organization.
Well, then they might give you some level of findings, but they're not going to give you all of that evidence.
And you know why?
Probably because everybody's going down. Look,
because it's nailing the owner. And
how many times have you and I talked about the racist owners? Okay,
that's why
the Trump supporters.
Right to them.
Yes, they were all Trump supporters. You know, it's funny. One guy said, tweeted, he said, "I knew Kaepernick was right, but I didn't know he was that right."
Absolutely.
I don't even know if Kaepernick knew he was that right, because I always question when Kaepernick didn't want to come back to the Niners. I'm thinking, Cap, don't you know who you are? Don't you know who the owners are of the rest of the league? You didn't put yourself in a position to be wanted by any of these, highly, racist owners relative to their supremacist concepts. You've already pissed them all off by kneeling, and they're all standing on the flag. So, I was just surprised. I always thought he should have just stayed with the Niners because the Niners supported him, publicly. I mean, let's face it, Chip Kelly, I literally saw Chip Kelly stand up for him in an after game meeting where Chip Kelly they were hitting Chip Kelly with like, isn't that a distraction, et cetera, et cetera. And Chip Kelly said, no. He said, the way that Black men are treated in America is egregious. And that's the other point, that he was really kneeling, not so much to protest owner racism, but to protest police abuse of Black people. It was sort of outside of the NFL, what his main, purpose was there. But then the NFL showed itself in the way that they responded to him. And so, there you go. So yeah, this is an interesting thing. We hit on all of this numerous times over the years, relative to that. And we always said, well, nobody's paying us. We can say, what we feel. You ain't got to worry about being politically correct or promoting anybody or any of that kind of stuff. So we're going to tell it like it is.
I tell you what, they got hacked once, they can get hacked again. And if this goes where I'm pretty sure it goes, which is why the NFL is keeping it quiet, all the way upstairs to owners, and not just the Washington owners, but several other owners throughout the league, we're going to have a situation like we had with the LA Clippers, and that goofball old dude used to own them.
Yeah.
If that language comes out by that guy and that guy and that guy, it's going to be a mess. I understand why they're keeping it hush-hush.
The NFL has gone through such a big change in their approach to diversity and things of that nature, the things that they're allowing, now, and racism on the back of the helmets. You got Jay-Z up there with the owners planning Super Bowl halftimes. And, it's so much happening now on a much more diverse level that this is just interesting timing and where it's at. And you're opening up internationally. So the last thing you want is to have all of this stuff popping out in the middle of that. But the international people, especially in soccer, are having their own issues, the same level of issues. Because, you got people over in those soccer games throwing bananas at Black people and all of that kind of stuff. So this isn't just us, and it's not just football. This is the people thing, and it's all over. We just have to understand that. All right. This is going to make us feel a lot better about people. This is Derrick Henry. showing some love to a young man who's missing a part. He was born with one hand. He broke Derrick Henry's high school single game record, I believe, 6 touchdowns.
Wow.
If this young man scored.
That's cool.
Is that awesome?
That's awesome.
I actually have YouTube video of this young man, and we haven't been getting, the videos haven't worked real well. So I'm not going to try it. Yeah. But if you go to Ben & Barry on football, 5 touchdowns. There you go. Okay. 426 yards rushing.
Woo-wee.
You know, hey, look, he got 2 legs. He might only have 1 hand, but 2 legs is moving. Boy.
Were they playing the Little Sisters of the Poor?
Oh, stop it. Stop it.
That's an old one.
Yeah, that's a mean one. Okay.
Coach used to say, my high school coach used to say, we're not playing the Little Sisters of the Poor. Why? Are they really not good? Or
they're not good? Yeah. Nope.
Like, who are they?
The NFL is continuing to look to expand internationally. They've talked to a number of locations. They're now looking to have games in Germany. So they're looking at Dusseldorf, Frankfurt, Munich. They're all invited candidates as far as where we might have the next game. So not just London, but we look like eventually it's going to be German.
So here's the problem for this. This goes back to what we were talking about, the teams that they select and the games they select to go overseas. They spread it out too thin. They're going to have to send some good teams over there.
I can see England now. Don't be sending Germany all the good teams.
Yeah, right. They're like, how come the Bills went to Germany? Why couldn't they play here?
I'm telling you.
We got Buffaloes.
According to the Sterling Net Point Power rankings, you're sending us the worst, the worst of the worst.
Yeah. I mean, let's face it.
This is the tweet I was telling you about where the guy said, I always thought Kaepernick was right. But I'm not going to lie. Yeah. I didn't know he was this right. So this is the tweet that's there. All right, Benny, first take is going to my alma mater. Or no, I'm not going to say my alma mater because I did not graduate. But I did find out something. I was surprised. I can use the word alumni or alumnus for Florida A&M because I did attend Florida A&M, although I did not graduate from Florida A&M. And I didn't know if I could call myself an alumnus, but I looked it up.
So it is politically correct to use the word alumni or alumnus, but not your alma mater, because it's only your alma mater if you graduate. Is that correct?
I do believe, but let's leave the alma mater out for a second.
Okay.
Let's just deal with alumni. That I actually did look up. But look at this, man. You're talking about Stephen A. Smith, Molly, all going, but guess who they're taking with them? Kevin Hart.
Max? Kevin Hart. Oh, Lord.
It's a Florida A&M homecoming. Now, if a game is ever going to get rocked, it's going to be at the Florida A&M homecoming with, as far as I'm concerned, the best marching band in the world.
They're up there, bro. They're up there. The only thing that could make this better is if they were playing Jackson State.
I don't know if this would make it better. You know why? I actually have something on Jackson State. So let's just linger for 1 second. This, the Florida A&M homecoming game. This is must see as far as I'm concerned. I can't wait for this show to happen. You can go to Ben & Barry on football for all the information, and the article link is right there. All right, Ben. This is why I said I don't know. Jackson State just beat, who did it beat? Alabama A&M, I do believe. 61 to 17, and it was Alabama's homecoming.
That's crazy. Obviously, they do these schedules a few years in advance. I'm pretty sure they do their schedules like 2 to 3 years in advance.
And what's that mean?
That means Jackson State might not have been that good when they scheduled them for their homecoming.
Oh, okay. All right.
Then all of a sudden, Prime showed up and everything changed.
Sure.
He couldn't change the game.
From what I understand, his son, Shador, had a bang-up game at quarterback. So this kid, we're going to keep an eye on him at quarterback. But yeah, 61-17. Someone said it wasn't a homecoming, it was a home going.
Damn. That's a shame.
So I don't know where my Florida A&M Rattlers stand relative to Jackson State, but I don't know if I wanted them coming in if they're this hot at this particular point.
Yeah, I haven't had the opportunity to watch a lot of HBCU games this year so far, but I'm going to make sure that I do. I do remember seeing Howard put the smack down on Morgan State a week or two ago. Trying to remember, I saw another game, but I can't remember what it was. When they asked Dion about the score of beating the team 61-17, he said we wanted to make sure all the lights on the scoreboard worked. So,
well, and what I understand, Alabama had the nerve to try to make fun of his scooter.
well, what? Yeah, and the coach said, "I hurt my ankle getting off the bus. Could you hook me up with a scooter?" And they gave him a little pink toy joint. That was funny.
Yeah, I think they left it at the at midfield when they left. They left the scooter.
That figures. Which is corny if you ask me. Should have took it home. He took it home, gave it to his granddaughter or something, man.
Kept it for a keepsake. Yeah, all right. Man, that's all I got.
Yes. That's all you got?
That's all I got.
All I got is I can't wait to get to the first Sixers game. Opening night. First home game.
I gotta check and see what my Bulls are doing. I don't know.
Bro, we was talking about the Bulls the other night. I check your bench because your starting five is nice.
Yeah, I'm glad to hear that. All right.
Nice.
All right.
But we'll see.
We shall see. Okay, well, enjoy the game. Last words?
My last words is go Noles.